Hello traders, Gary Wagner here, 11:10 in Honolulu, 5:10 in New York. On Friday, happy Aloha Friday as we say on the islands, July 17, 2015. This is Trending Markets. We just got done filming our gold forecast in which we saw this market plummet to prices not seen since 2010. A lot of what we're looking at is dollar strength. We've also got selling in the metals, but take a look at the dollar. Dollar closes 97.95, closing up about 1/3%. But the key is, as far as I'm concerned, is we've talked about over the last couple of days that we pretty much had clear sailing through this particular resistance area right at around 98. You can see that we've had an effective close above that, because when we look at candles prior to that, and I'm really looking at this particular day right here, when we consider that we hit these tops but not on a closing basis, prior to that was in the mid 97s, and now that we've broken through there, we've got one other minor level of resistance which comes in at around 90, call it 98.5. But this is the area I'm really thinking we're going to take out, which is 100 on the dollar index. This high, and then of course this high just above that. These are our personal targets in which I think that we could see the dollar move to. Now, we officially do not have a trade in the dollar. We have been recommending the dollar for quite some time. I'm taking a different approach to trending markets that I have been in the gold forecast, in that we follow so many markets. What I want to do is always let you, my subscribers, know my current forecast on each of the markets that we think are moving or have that potential to move, and let you know, one, which direction I think it's going to go, and two, where I think it's going to go. In other words, to give you actionable information so you can incorporate that in your existing trades. I've gotten emails and I realize I do have quite a few subscribers long dollars. You absolutely want to maintain that. Right now, I'm looking at this market, as I said, at least moving just below 99, but I really believe that we've got a substantial opportunity to see it move back towards 100, which really brings us to the euro dollar. You know that one of my targets has been for a long time that 108 area. We've seen it fall under pressure, off about 0.5% on the day. Tremendous move down. Even on our daily charts, you can see it's now at the bottom of this channel. Now, in terms of levels of support, this target area right here at 108 is really, that was my first real target that I think this market could go to. Now, the lows that we've seen have been at around 105 and 104. You can see that here and here. And my sense is that continued dollar strength, we get some rate hikes with the scenario going on over in the European Union. Now, the Greek debt crisis is, I believe, no longer a crisis, but a scenario that they have to resolve, but they are working their way through it. But they are working their way through it. It is putting a lot of downside pressure on the euro. I expect the euro to continue to fall. I expect the dollar to continue to rise. And that takes us to crude oil. As you know, we've effectively been looking at this market from the bear side. I do believe that this market's got some more downside potential. When we look at our weekly charts, you can see we've still got really strong body size over these last 2 weeks, absence of any kind of an upper wick. Strong body size closing near the lows of the day. Now, my sense is that once, or if I should say, we break through 50, and I believe that we will, $50 a barrel, the next real level we need to look at in terms of any kind of support comes in at around 48, 47.83. That's a 75% retracement. And then below that are these bottoms that we had, this one at 41, and I truly believe we'll see a retest of that. So again, traders that are short oil, you want to maintain your short position in oil. And I think in terms of downside, we've got at least $2 to $3 a barrel lower to go in this market. Equities markets absolutely on fire, but they're at those historical record tops. And therefore, once again, the question is, are we once again at a ceiling, or will this ceiling become a floor? And what I mean by that is support and resistance are part and parcel of the same thing. It just depends if you're on the second floor looking up or the third floor looking down. Right now, we are on the second floor. We are looking up. And interestingly enough, when we look at the different markets that we're following on trending markets, there is no more a clear defined trend in any market than the equities. However, the fact that we are once again at these historical highs, and look at this dynamic move that we saw over this week, just an incredible surge in equity prices pretty much around the world except for China. But the key is this: is this going to remain a ceiling, meaning are we going to see it bounce off and hit lower prices, or because at some point we will breach this particular glass ceiling, so to speak, and once we do, as soon as we see effective closes above this line, that tells us we're going to go into the next rally mode, as opposed to a correction or a consolidation, in which we have seen this market throughout 2015 really oscillate between just above, and call it 2040, 2050, and 2120, 2125, these record tops that we hit up here. So for now, the conclusive evidence is not in. Will this become a floor? We'll have to see how that unfolds next week. But right now we're back up near the high. So we're holding pattern in the Standard & Poor's until we either see it bounce and move down. It's a good short, or effectively close above. I think we've got a good long. So to basically consolidate what we're looking at, those traders in the dollar remain long. Those looking to enter the market, I still think that there's room to the upside. You can still make a play in there. We're looking for it to go to 100. I think that there's room to the upside. Euro, I think that there's room to the downside. However, the one caveat that we'll want to look at is, whereas gold closed well below the most recent lows on a closing basis, we're just above that, but it is a lower close than we have seen throughout the better part of this month. So I think that the euro dollar will continue to effectively trade lower. Lastly, in terms of the markets, is crude. I think that crude will continue to trade lower. Our targets on that are 48 to 43 dollars per barrel. This has been Gary Wagner, wishing you, as always, good trading. We'll talk to you on Monday for another daily update and review. Bye-bye.